Hello, Jehovah's Witnesses and ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. You know, when I thought about doing this video, I was really doubtful and really didn't want to do it. I really didn't want anything more to do with this whole mess that the Jehovah's Witness organization now finds itself in. Now I'm going to talk to both of you, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and Jehovah's Witnesses. Ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, you may become angry with me. I really don't care at this point. Jehovah's Witnesses, you'll definitely may be confused, or you may find this really hard to believe. But the answer is all in the scriptures. Yes, Jehovah's Witnesses, your governing body has been taken over. It has become, in Jehovah's eyes and Jesus' eyes, the man of lawlessness that Paul spoke of in 2 Thessalonians, the last great rebellion to occur before the end of this age. Now, you all might be wondering what's going on. Well, what's happening? You have Jehovah's Witness, ex-Jehovah's Witness apostates attacking the organization for all the wrongs that they committed. Well, what are those wrongs? Those wrongs, those very wrongs that the ex-JWs are accusing the Jehovah's Witnesses of, and its hierarchy, the governing body and its officers, can be found in the scriptures. And you, Jehovah's Witnesses, are too blind to realize that the same thing that happened in ancient history can happen again. Now, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, let's pretend, okay? Just for a minute, just for the amount of time it will take you to dissolve this in your head and to think, to really digest the information I'm about to say. Let's pretend that the Jehovah's Witnesses really are God's representative nation on earth. Let's pretend, okay? Make believe. Now, Jehovah's always had a representative nation on earth. This was his desire when he freed the Hebrews from Egypt, was it not? But then what happened? Jehovah's plan, did it go bad? No. Even though the Hebrews at the base of Mount Sinai created a golden calf, after seeing all of his 10 miracles and the pillar of fire before the between them and the Egyptians, and the parting of the Red Sea, they still created a golden calf. Even then, Jehovah waited 40 years to have this representative nation that would represent his name and his presence here on earth. He has always had it. He had it with the Jerusalem, the first Jerusalem before Babylon came to destroy it. He had it even after that with the third or the second nation of Jerusalem before the Romans came and destroyed it. And now we have the Gentiles. Now remember, we're just pretending. Let's pretend that the Jehovah's Witnesses are indeed, as they claim to be, the ones who took over the place of the Jews as favored by Jehovah, as the Gentile nation of Jehovah. Let's pretend. Now, there was a time when Jehovah approved of his nation and favored his nation. He protected his nation. We know that. There was also the time when, just as an example, when Jehovah became angry with his nation. And he sent Joshua to go and destroy Jericho, a very demonic city. He told him not to take anything, not to steal anything, or just not to pillage anything from that city because it was so demonic. Jehovah wanted them to have nothing to do with Jericho. They were sacrificers of children to Baal and Moloch. So what happens? Somebody, and I'm going to speak in short brief, you all know the story. I don't have to give you scripture by scripture by scripture, verse by verse by verse. You all know the story. You've all been Jehovah's Witnesses before, and you Jehovah's Witnesses should already know all these things, unless you're back to drinking milk. Now, somebody stole something from Jericho. And what happened? When Joshua went out to fight again, they started losing battles. And as Joshua starts scratching his head, wondering, why are we losing battles? Why? Well, Jehovah eventually revealed it to him. One of your people in Jericho, one of your soldiers, they stole from Jericho something I had not commanded. So now this is why you're losing favor with me. Now I want you to go and kill, I think it was Ahaz and his whole entire family, his flock, everything, and burn everything that belongs to him. The reason I say this is just a small example of when a nation, or something as simple as what Ahaz did in the case of Joshua, wondering why they were losing battle after battle, lose the favor of Jehovah. You start to see it. You start to see it happen. Now, this is going to take more than one video to do. But I'm going to stick with you to the end, because what I have to tell you is the secret plan of Jehovah, of what he's always meant to happen all along. How do we know? Because he's the Almighty. He's the all-knowing. He, as with his sons of the kingdom, he knew them before, just an example, before the foundation of the earth. He already knew who they were. He already knew what they would be like, just like when Jeremiah was born. Jehovah already knew who he was when he was in the womb. I knew you before you were in the womb. Jehovah knows all these things, and there's a lot of great mysteries that we really don't understand quite yet, but they're starting to come to light. Now, I use these little examples because at some point, ancient Jerusalem, both of them, they lost favor with Jehovah. They did. Now, Jehovah compared the last two Jerusalems to his wife. Like, he found her, clothed her, bathed her. You can see that in Ezekiel. You read the entire thing of Ezekiel, Jehovah comes to describe things as if Jerusalem was his wife. He made an oath to her, a covenant with Jerusalem as his nation. And any group that claims and professes to be Jehovah's nation falls under that oath and covenant with Jehovah, just as the Bible students did back in the 1900s. Now remember, XJWs, we're pretending, we're make-believing that the Jehovah's Witnesses were a representative nation of Jehovah. In fact, they were the only ones to sanctify the name of Jehovah. Oh, but Jehovah's name is nowhere in the Greek scriptures. Well, the reason you don't see the Jehovah's name in the Greek scriptures, and why Jesus didn't use it, is because it was forbidden to use the name Jehovah. So Jesus wouldn't get in trouble. He just abided by by that law. He didn't use it. The disciples didn't use it. And they were doing it for years where they were not using it, using the name of Jehovah. I digress, but just so that you get over that whole thing, why his name wasn't used in the Greek scriptures. Now, so we're talking about Jehovah's Nation, pretending that the Jehovah's Witnesses took the place of the Jews, who Jehovah abandoned. And just as Luke says in Acts 15:14, God went out to the nations, to the Gentiles, and chose a people for his name. It does say that. Okay? And Jehovah's Witnesses, they have preached from door to door freely. Every group has tried that, but it didn't work. They preached the kingdom. That they certainly did. They preached Jesus' kingdom. They taught who the enemy of that kingdom is. The devil, demons, and the United Nations. The United Nations because, well, the devil is using the UN as a pawn, a counterfeit kingdom to oppose Jesus' kingdom as the only hope for mankind. Okay? You with me still? Okay. So, in this, talking about this, Jehovah has a representative nation. Now we're just pretending. I lost my spot.